Oh, didn't even play my intro. Don't know what happened there. I wonder why it didn't do that. Well, whatever. Um, Gosh, let me see if I can get it to play the intro before I say anything. Give me 1 second. Intro. Play. Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it. There. Needed to have the intro out. Got to have the disclaimer before I say anything. All right, good. So we're here. We're live. It is Wednesday, the 14th. Let's jump into the charts. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ first before we get too far. And then once this particular show is done, after about 10 minutes, I'm going to go private with the Algo Factory Live Lab group. And then after that, as long as there is a potential for some scalps, I'm going to come back on live again for Forex Live scalping session numero dos. All right, so keep an eye out. We're going to have another session as long as the scalping is good. Now, I can tell you right now, this is the 30-minute chart. NASDAQ is strong, popped up last night, popped up into the range. So if I were to back up, and I'm going to show NASDAQ because really it's TradFi, NASDAQ's running everything. And that's going to include Bitcoin to a certain degree. Bitcoin is going to have some of its own movement at this time. It's doing pretty well, but NASDAQ pushing up is going to allow for that. And this is basically the market showing right now that it's ready to come back and possibly test all-time highs. But understand that the large moves have large counter moves, right? So we had a large move down right here when everything fell, and then you had a nice big move up, right? This is a impulse retracement, big impulse retracement, and then you had this massive impulse and of course retracement back up. And if we were to simplify that and have less arrows, we could just have one big impulse and retracement, right? Price came down, deals got made, price came back up. Okay. Now the question is whether or not price will go back and touch that high, or whether or not this big move up is going to see a sell-off. And one thing about markets, and this is going to reign true for Bitcoin and everything else, is that when you see a large move, there is going to be usually a move in the opposite direction. And if we look at this on the daily chart, the NASDAQ, due to China news, has really popped up hard. Now it is in this range. It's got a lot of liquidity within this rectangle. So price basically will want to stay in this range, but of course it may not do so. And when people make money this easily, right? When traders make money this easily, when you get the population no longer panicking and complacent because price is near all-time highs in the NASDAQ and all their retirement looks okay, you're going to have a lot of people who relax. They're happy with their money. Maybe they want some options trades, and there may end up being a sell-off. We'll see about it. Now, for now, to look purely at the algos, I would say it's all bullish, just purely at the algos. But it doesn't mean it's going to be bullish in a straight line. So if we jump down to the 3 hour, it does look like it will continue up, but we might see some sideways, and we're already seeing it before it does continue up. And we have PPI tomorrow. CPI was bullish. PPI may very well be bullish or neutral. Let's see what we have Friday on the calendar. We just have some consumer sentiment that can move markets. Just depends on how close it is to the estimates. There really aren't estimates, actually. So we have to see how neutral or not it is. But when you have this kind of move, usually it's going to be followed at some point by sideways action. Now, the massive move down, again, is going to fuel a massive move up, especially after China, agreement and things like that. China agreement, the news is pushing it as if it's good to go and there's a full reset and that and the other. But you know what? It's just a 90-day agreement. Things can change really quickly. So, of course, there's massive headline risk. But if nothing changes in that regard, I would expect price to more or less go up. This is a big move. That's a big move. It seems to want to go up more, but it might end up hitting a wall, selling off maybe to the bottom of the range. And then we'll have to see what happens at that time. And that could take all the way through the week, next week, A lot of things can happen. Everything is very headline dependent right now, but things are relatively bullish. Let's jump over to Bitcoin and take a look at that. So you got the corn, right? Hanging on. And if I were to just look at the algos, you get the all-time high right here, about 109,500. Okay. And things are bullish, but things are also like coming to a point where it's bullish against resistance, right? Let me take a brief look at the monthly. We're going to go out one more panel just so I can see what the monthly looks like. Yeah, everything is bullish with Bitcoin. If I were to go strictly by the algos, I would expect up sideways, right? Now, we might get a bit of a longer sideways at that all-time high, maybe some sideways here, up, sideways, and then however long this hangs out here, if it even does, then it's going to go in another direction. Now, if it goes down, we might see a bit of ranging price action, somewhat dependent maybe on TradFi, traditional finance, NASDAQ, right? So if NASDAQ like really gets into trouble, then Bitcoin will dump. But I right now, it doesn't look like this is going to happen, but that's headline dependent. You could just get a breakout. But how price behaves at this all-time high is going to tell us a lot. But for the moment, I would expect sideways to up, maybe a pullback and then up. But I think the retest of the all-time high is very imminent for Bitcoin, which is going to push all the rest of the cryptos up. But don't be surprised if you see a sell-off, because this is the simple rule about trading in markets. People have been making money way too easily, especially on Bitcoin. Remember I showed you yesterday that this move here was bullish? I don't know if you remember the show yesterday, if you watched it. If you didn't watch it, shame on you. But I did say, let me see, what is this, Tuesday? I did say this was bullish yesterday, right? I literally just go back and watch it, edging up like this, right? I said this is bullish. That's almost always going to be bullish. And lo and behold, as that did continue with higher highs and higher lows, you ended up with this. I told you this was going to happen. Like high probability. I never say it's going to happen, but I did say this is generally what happens, right? You get this higher high, higher low sort of bull flag, but kind of skewed to the upside. Big move up, said it was going to happen, right? At least I said it would be a high probability. I never ever say, hey, this is absolutely going to happen. But just don't be surprised if you see a sell-off, only because what you now have are a bunch of moon boys, okay? And this is the way the market works. People get excited. They see the all-time high on the horizon. They think something's going to happen. And so they go long here, 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 and here. Well, guess where all the stop losses are? Not far below these blue lines, right? Stop losses are all very close to these blue lines. So the market makers can actually allow themselves to make money by filling their shorts maybe here, maybe a little bit higher with more liquidity below. We can even look up the liquidity on the Kingfisher. And then they can force price down into these stop losses. So they can fill up their shorts, exit their longs. They can sell into these stop losses, which are effectively sell orders, and push price right back down to wherever they want to refill. It's a very, very common thing. This could be even what you call an inducement trade. Just keep pushing it up, getting the bullish people in, and then you trap them. Could be a bull trap. V the Gorilla, sir, how you doing?
Yeah. You never look at those private message chats when I sent to you before.
Yeah, it's just it's because I'm
Huh?
watching the charts.
Man, stop watching
So
the charts, bro.
what's that?
Stop watching the charts, man.
Yeah, I really should
Yeah.
stop watching the charts because
Yeah.
it's like, what are they? Why even watch charts? What's the
Watch
point?
me, man. I'm
kind of gay. Gay?
Very gay. Super gay.
Oh boy. Yeah. So we're still with the public. So look, here's the thing. V the Gorilla had some items you were handling there last month or two, so we didn't really hear from V, and that's how things go when you are the international Bitcoin gold mogul. Sometimes you just got to take some time to handle shit, right? When you are in that let's just say level, when you're at that level, but you're here, We love having you here as often as we can. So,
Peace.
anything you want to say to the general public before we flip it over to the private live lab?
Hey guys, here's the deal. Join us, man. I mean, join us in the private lab. It's well worth your time. The education you get, the knowledge you get, and how to deploy your algorithm so it's working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is very key. So come check us out.
Nice. I'm starting up the private live lab now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got this weird thing. I have to always restart Telegram for it to work. So now
Yeah,
we're gonna let's sing a song for the public here. You got a song you want to
sure.
sing, sir?
It's a small world after all.
You don't want to. I want to hear some Corky Buchik.
Corky Buchik is I don't think the world's ready for Corky Buchik. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who has surpassed Engelbert Humperdinck. It's definitely Corky Buchik.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Engelbert Humperdinck ain't got nothing on Corky Buchik. Now, that's just an absolute fact.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you see that, man, because most people miss that. It's amazing, Corky Buchik.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on with Telegram, man. Hey, look, everybody in Telegram, give us a 5x5. We'll figure it out later. We're gonna hop off of the private live lab here. So let me jump off there. Thank you all for watching. Like V said, go ahead. Also, go in the description. You get a free algo. Give us your email, and we will send you the free algo and updates as to when we're going to do our workshop. You get weekly updates, all that stuff, all for free. Go ahead and do that. And we'll catch you on the flip side. And don't forget,
join us or die.